Hello, guys. Hello, gals. Animal friends and spirit pals. Welcome and welcome back to the Spirit Whisperer channel. Howdy ho, everybody. How you doing? Please excuse my appearance tonight. I'm sorry to be so butch, but I've just come in from doing some automotive repairs. Yes, I'm used to talking about automotive stuff. And I was out there, greasing up the pistons. That's right. And then after that, I went and chopped up a load of wood, worked up a manly sweat. And that brought to mind a couple of people in the GOP, I like to call them hypocrites, that I've been wanting to read on. I don't know, they got my gaydar a twitching. Some of it's because of some rumors maybe I've been hearing, or just my gaydar knows what it's talking about, and it starts twitching when it sees a bitchin', right? So we're going to look at a couple of them. I thought tonight I'd pull a couple of cards on Mike's Johnson and BJ Vance. Now, don't you guys go correcting me. You keep saying, Mark, his name is JD. Yeah, but I'm going by his grinder handle. BJ Vance. Get it? BJ. Right, so, they seem like they've joined into Miss Lindsay's, fanny packing club. And I just wonder, is it true? Could it be true? They both seem so macho. I mean, I see them and I just immediately think, macho, macho man. I want to be a macho man. Macho, macho man. Okay, now for this reading, I'm going to need some more powerful gaydar glasses, okay? Because I need my gaydar glasses. These are equipped with special vision. They can see right into a dark closet and see what's hiding there. Now, I'm not about outing an ugly hypocrite, but I feel like if you're anti-LGBTQ+, and you're doing everything you can to hurt their lives, and you're in the closet, I'm not for it. I am not for it. So let's pull a couple cards let's start out with Mike's Johnson. Has Mike's Johnson been sticking his nose in some dark holes where it don't belong? At least not according to his church. Could you imagine? A God-fearing Christian tapping his foot in the men's room looking for a little action? Please, if I had pearls on, I'd be clutching them. But no, didn't wear my pearls. But I bet you Mike's Johnson likes a pearl necklace. What do you think? I bet you they all like pearl necklaces. They probably compare them. So let's see. We're looking at, is there something about Mike's Johnson that makes my gaydar tingle? And is this, what's it tingling at? Is there something to tingle at? That's a good question. When we look at old Mike's Johnson. What's that tingling feeling? What's that tingling one? Yeah. let's pull one more of these. Now, for this reading, I thought the RuPaul's Drag Race deck. This is volume 2. I have 2 decks, volume 1 and volume 2. Love them both. We're going to look at volume 2 for this. I thought it was appropriate. Okay, there's one more for that. One more of them there. Okay. Now, so I pulled some of the Ru cards. Now I'm going to pull my favorite specialty gay dude deck. This deck is hot and sexy. I love it. Do you like my gardeners on my shirt? These are little cute springtime gardeners. Getting ready to do some macho work. Macho, macho man in the Navy. Wasn't BJ in the Navy? I feel like he was. I think he was swapping up some poop decks. I don't know. It's just natural. It just comes to me. So let's pull a couple of my specialty sexy gay man deck, which I love so much. And no, y'all can't have it. Let's see about that. Well, guys and gals, animal friends and spirit pals, these are interesting. Right. Okay, here we go. Now, I don't know too much about Mike Johnson, but there was a rumor that he was hooking up on Grindr. And, you know, seems perfectly logical. You know, because the grinders just go through the roof in D.C., especially when the GOP is there visiting. A lot of them seem to be dipping their wand into the oil. So, I say, is it possible that my dingling gaydar is dinglinging for a reason? Well, I get 2 fuck you of wands. That's interesting because it's like two faces presenting 2 positions. And if you think of wands as a PP, he's got 1 PP going this over here, and he got 1 PP going over there. So his PP goes back and forth. Could be he's bi, but I doubt it. It feels a little more deep than that. Next, he gets King of Swords. Now, the phrase sword swallower comes to mind. I'm sure it's one he's used often, you know, in talking down gay men. This looks like he's the king of the swords. He's won the medal. He's silver place sword swallower. Number 3, he thinks he's so good at working his magic, no one could know. His disguise is foolproof. You know, it's kind of like Superman wearing the glasses and nobody knows who's really there. It's like Mike Johnson glasses. You know, he goes, then he takes them off and he whips it out and he's super sword swallower. Then we get 9 of Wands. Oops. I'm on the defensive, is what I'm going to say. I don't want you to see my wands, my wand stories, all my encounters with stiff wands. Don't want you to see those. So I better cast this spell. Pay no attention to the stiff wands behind me. It's easy. It just comes out. It just flows. Flows from my lips. I don't even try. I'm just a little wit. Some might call it a little shit, but I prefer wit. Then, what's the end of those cards? I pulled 5 because I just couldn't stop. 7 of Swords. So the Master of Swords, the big old sword swallower, he likes to lie and hide and, steal a little sword handling when nobody's watching. So, it's on the down low. He grabs the swords and, gives them a workout, but, he's shady while doing it. Okay, well, now I just don't think that was my extra gay prejudice figuring in. The cards are the cards. Okay. Now I went ahead with my sexy devil deck, but now I mixed them all up. Well, okay, wait, what order did they come in? Like that. Okay. So, oops. I'm losing my feathers. How dare you? All right. How very dare you, Feather Boa. Stay up. It's a lot better when I was greasing pistons. You just stayed right up where you're supposed to be. All right. We're looking at the idea of a hypocritical, closeted weirdo attacking really himself, because of self-hatred. Is this the thing with him? Well, judgment. I'm going to say there's an announcement, yes, his judgment of others is really about himself. Look, blowing his own horn, so to speak. Judgment of others is judgment of self. And we know who he hates. Then we get upside down. I have to kind of block. Oops, got to block this one a little bit. Now, all you prudes, don't get your panties in a bunch. We're having fun, and I needed these cards because they tell the truth. So it's upside down 4 of Pentacles. He's been trying to keep it all under wraps. Keep it all close to home. But it's upside down. So I think some of this might be dripping out. You might be dripping a little bit. Because if it's just coming right out. And I was asking about this whole thing, they immediately squashed it and act like it wasn't a thing, but that's what they always do. 3 of Swords. Heartbreak. Heartache. The heart wants what it wants, even if it's forbidden. Of course, it's only forbidden because of people like this jerk. Right. So there's that. None of these cards are just fantastic. Then he gets the Nine of Wands again. We got it in the last one, but we get it again. Can I show this card? Yeah. Uh, you know, trying to keep those stiff, hard wands hidden from view. He wants to keep them behind him. Don't want you to see them. They're for his backside. And then the last card of those, I mean, I can't really make it up, guys. I have to really be careful with this one. There's a snake, but there's also another snake that I'm hiding with my finger. But the devil. So, like, the final outcome, you know, he's chained to his sexual addiction. He likes two handsome hotties at once, coming in from behind. There you go, the devil. Well, now you guys can, you know, interpret those the way you want, but to me, that's a good old yes-a-rooney. So I'm wondering how, you know, we're going to go along with that reading, and how is that going to work out for him? You know, keeping his big old secrets. I'm wondering if yep, they want me to change the decks for this one. So, how's that going to work out for him? Being a heaping, helping hypocrite. Let's see. How's his future looking? Oh, let's see. Between now and like June. How's Mike Johnson looking? It's interesting that he spells his first name with an S, don't you think? I don't know if I've ever seen that before. How's it looking? Okay. Because, you know, he has this happy, you know, his happy family life. How's that going? I see that part, but I'm also wondering how's it going for his, you know, career, if we can call it that. I don't know. Don't look that great. You know, I have to imagine, because I've not done it myself, that it must take quite a toll, you know, to keep such a secret. So it's talking a lot, mostly it's talking about, well, I just said, how's this going to affect him in the future? You know, how's it going to work out? Well, it looks like it's going to put like a big old dagger between him and the wifey. This is the Knight of Swords. But his, you know, Knight of Swords is usually out there getting what it wants. It's got its leads with its sword. I think this sword activity at night might come between them. Oh, then he gets the Page of Cups. And quite often, this is called the LGBTQ card because there's a little surprise in your cup that maybe you weren't expecting. And look at this surprise. It's a big old dangling fish. Dangling between his legs. Could that big fish, big surprise fish, and you know, if it's a page too, he might be dipping it into some young water. Is that going to have an effect on their holy matrimony. And so then I get the Four of Wands. This will be like happy home and family, but is it happy? It looks dead. It looks Skeletor. Interesting. Because, does it lead to happy family? So it gives me the family card, but Day of the Dead. Makes me feel like, not great for the family. Not great for the relationship, not great for the family. Of course, if you're hiding something like that, which, for entertainment purposes only, I don't know him. I don't use Grindr, so we don't know. And then I get Eight of Cups and the Lovers. That looks like walking away from a marriage, a relationship, a partner, seeing the light, walking into the light, away from what, the cups, the love, but they're all spilled and turned over. No cups. And then I also said, how would that kind of affect? I was asking about work too, when I was just kept getting all this relationship. But here's that Six of Pentacles, which, charity, depending on the kindness of strangers, reaching out for help, money backers kind of disappearing and fading away because he's being backed by money, of course. So I don't know. Don't look like it's all that, according to that, don't look that great. All right. Now I also wanted to look at, that was Mike Johnson. Now I wanted to look at my buddy BJ Vance. We'll keep on the gaydar glasses because, once again, same thing. Now, BJ, as I lovingly call him, grew up dumb and poor. He says he was a hillbilly, but not sure about that. But, in his story, he says when he was young, he didn't really like girls like the other boys did. He enjoyed spending his time with boys. He didn't really have a girlfriend. And he began to think, I might be gay. Maybe I'm gay. And he went to his old granny, and his old granny, she sat him down, and she straightened him out. And from that point on, he was straight. Because that's how that works, You're born gay, your granny sets you down, she tells you what for, and you turn straight. That's how that works. So, just wondering, something tells me he might be one of them DC Grindr users. But what do I know? I don't, patronize the same bathrooms that he does. I heard, though, that he learned the best tapping signals from Lindsay. The toe tapping they do in the bathroom. There's magic signals. I'm looking for pipe. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, I'm wild tonight. Hold me back. So we're looking at the old BJ. His granny set him straight. Give me a break. He goes, yeah, and I just happen to be financed by, a gay billionaire. No, there's nothing up with that. Nothing. Okay. So, here we go. Oh, let me use my gay cutie pie deck too for him. Let's do some cards for old BJ. You know who I mean, Spirit. Is he deep in the closet? What's going on there? Okie dokie. Sorry, they just keep coming. I just keep looking because they wanted to tell me a little bit more. All right. So here we go. So we're looking at his closeted-like behavior and rumors. First of all, he carries around a huge burden. It's hard to keep his heels on because it's so heavy. It's a heavy, heavy burden of wands. Now again, wands is spirit body, but it's also like a fiery wand. Get my drift? And look at these wands. They've all got goop on the end of them, like drippy goop. And so he's carrying these drippy wands around as a burden. His grandmother, there she is, told him everything is okay. You are a normal little boy. And the end. Period. There's no other choice. The end. Look, I also look like she's going, and I'm preparing you because someday you'll be in cahoots with Russia. So you got to just stick to the story, Morning Glory. So that's part of the reason why he keeps the mask and everything on. He's really pretty girly. Like he's pretty in touch with his feminine side, his empress side. But, he works very hard to keep it hidden. It's a thorny situation. Hard to keep under wraps. Hangman, he, in this case, it's like he presents an upside down version of himself. That's what I'm hearing. He presents an upside down version of himself. And his final card is death. You know, he might eventually have to end the facade, kill it, put an end to it, you know, because it's right there on his heels. Because if what I feel is real, you know, true, you know, he's trying to stomp out that part of himself, right? He's trying to kill it and get rid of it. So he kind of hates himself. There we go again. They're both self-haters. Then I switched over to my other deck. Let's see, are they in order? Yeah, okay. Nine of Pentacles. He's sitting pretty. Now, this is an interesting card because a lot of times it's a woman in this card. But, you know, he's like a money bride. Look at all that money. He's well cared for. He's well paid. Kind of like a wife. I don't know who could be paying him or treating him like a wife. You know, so he feels cared for. So this is not talking about his wife. This is talking about him as a wife. Still, Ace of Wands. He's got a wandering eye. He's always on the lookout for another wand to gaze upon. You know, it's interesting. It's like it's kind of never out of sight, never out of mind. He thinks about that a lot. His Ace of Wands leads him. He follows that lead. He can't stop looking, can't stop thinking. Oh my goodness, he might start drinking. Then he gets the Knight of Pentacles. Because again, he's sort of working on behalf of the money. You know, he has to, the Knight, you know, he's presented as a younger, certainly, than the Oompa Loompa savior. But also, the Knight is working on behalf of someone else. So, you know, like he goes, look, I work on behalf of money and pentacles, but I don't mean it's really his. Again, he's paid. So, you know, there's that Six of Swords, that calling to, to leave the situation. You know, like he's like dreaming of, how can I leave that life behind and move into what really suits me? You know, he also thinks he's keeping a step ahead, but he might need to look behind him, because I feel like people are examining everything. He thinks, you know, he does all this big hiding, deceiving, pretending, because his goal is to move from the Knight of Pentacles into the King of Pentacles. So, you know, he thinks he'll be the bully president, right? He'll be in charge. He'll get the Pentacles. He'll get the win. That's what he's focused on. That's also why he has to keep things under wraps. That's a reason that he's not open about it. Because he thinks, oh, especially after all that they constantly criticize people like him. So, it wouldn't do very good. So that's his wish, and that's why he's doing it, and that's what he thinks he's winning. However, I don't know, it looks like something stops the progress, stops the chariot on the way there. It's trying to get there, but they don't quite make it. There's a stop. He's on his way, he thinks, to being the new king of Pentacles. But, he thinks it's like a done deal. I'm on the road. I'm almost there. I don't know. That looks like there's a big stop. The next one is the Four of Cups. Looking like he might not get the offer that he's thinking he deserves. It may not be offered to him. It might bypass him. Like, look, it's behind him, but he's thinking, he's meditating, alone, thinking about something else, not this. So I think that might bypass him, that offer. Because, this is interesting, because we got the Empress in that first read. Now this is basically the Empress in this deck, but it's called the Consort, which would be like, your paid sex provider. So this makes me think he can never be king. At best, he would be, a boy toy kind of a thing. This consort energy. Because there's something behind, it's not really, he thinks, oh yeah, I'll fool everybody, I'll reap the rewards. But I don't know, I feel like people end up seeing through it. It all comes to light that he's just basically sold himself to the highest bidder. Which is why, he apparently denies who he is. So let's see how that's going to work out for him. Let's see how that affects his oncoming future. Oh, jeez. Just a hypocrite. Just a hypocrite. Just a hypocritical slut. Yeah, we'll see how that works for him. Deedly-dee-dee-dee. Two ladies. Deedly-dee-dee-dee. Two ladies. Deedly-dee-dee-dee. Two ladies looking for some pee-pee fun. Okay, let's see how his predilection serves him. Oh, I see. How's his upcoming future looking, I'm thinking? That's what these cards are telling me. Oh, no. Uh-oh. And an outcome card, please. Looking into his near future. Now we're looking at BJ Vance. What is he? The vice president. So the first card to get when I talk about how is this deception, lies, hypocritical behavior, scumbagness, how's that going to serve him here in the near future? Tower. Tower energy. Now, again, I do get like wife energy again. Well, this is the bride of Frankenstein, and he's a Frankenstein. So she might be fed up or getting sick of it. I did get that kind of before with these two. So, because, why? Why is the bride saying, ah, Tower? Because, ooh, he's the King of Swords. You know, here's another sword swallower, another King of Swords. Look how he's got his mat. He goes, here, right in here. And, oh no, there's some news. There's some news out in the air. The monkeys are flying. Uh-oh. There's some monkey grease coming to the surface, flying around. What a world, what a world, he thinks. A little wicked witch. He still thinks like, here's that 2 of Wands. So he's prepared, he thinks, to do what it takes, you know, to get up for this offer, the bloody cup. But I don't think it's going to come. Again, no offer. So it looks like my computer's running out of space. So I'm going to end this right now in case it does. So those were interesting readings. You can draw your own conclusions. But it feels like the closets are a little full and need some airing out. Would you agree with me, Pan? Does it look like there's a little messing around? Yes. Would you think that maybe both of those boys are dabbling in the closet? Yes. Okay, well, there's that. Okay, guys, I hope that was fun for you. I had a gay-o time. I love you, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.